Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the time that you watch this short clip. Uh, yeah. So earlier today, when I went to pick up these very exciting tickets to the show, right? I bumped into someone who asked me what I was doing, you know, and I showed them the ticket, and they're like, "Oh, okay." So they're looking at the details, the venue, the time, the day, and the price. They're like, "Oh, 150. Who's your target audience?" And in the moment, I just start to say, well, I think the working class can afford this. Um, but then I realized that's not actually the target audience. The truth is, the target audience for this particular show is any person who thinks that um, a night of intelligent entertainment is worth 150 kwacha plus whatever money they'll spend to get to the venue and back. But of course, that could also just be marketing, right? Um, then the person whom I told that the target audience was the working class says, "Yeah, but what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to do here?" I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to create a market for this particular, craft, which is spoken word poetry and creative writing. I'm trying to make this a viable thing. Beyond just being entertaining, it has to be something that can generate funds for someone." And they're like, "Okay, so you have the show, and then what? What then?" And I think that's what most people would think. You know, you have the show, and then what? And this is what I brought to his attention. So this show is organized by VPP Readers and Writers Club. And this club has got two limbs. The first one is the one that's that's meant or designed for society members, adults and people that are, able to, you know, come to the show, people that are interacting on the Facebook group, which is so far growing, and pretty much everyone, that's out here in society. And then the other limb is high school children, people that are in schools, uh, that are pretty much the primary target for this initiative. So VPP Readers and Writers Club is an initiative that is meant to build interest, to evoke interest in school-going children, interest in reading and writing, to sort of inspire a reading culture, to develop their writing and reading abilities, to give them a platform on which they can share their passion, they can explore their talents, and they can develop their personal attributes. Beyond that, the club also has within it uh, facets that will allow for personal growth, the personal growth of the people under the club. Um, on the coaching manual, some of the things that they have to read, the students have to read, um, are things to do with self-actualization, um, the multiple types of intelligence, and how to figure out their particular, types of intelligence, and as well different ideas that they will debate on, so as to develop their own um, leanings and their own opinions on these different ideas. So that's basically the primary goal of this particular initiative, the club. And this platform that's out here in society, the one that's organizing the poetry show, is supposed to be a place that these school children, when they graduate, can transition into. So basically, we go into schools, we coach these students on how to read, how to write. We develop their interest in reading and writing. We develop their skills and their talents. And then as they graduate, we provide them with a platform on which they can share their passion, they can explore further, and they can interact with other people that are doing things that they are particularly passionate about. And when I explained this to this person, we got into this long discussion about how he thinks it's such a great initiative, how he thinks it will bring about a lot of needed change, how he thinks it's something that he would have wanted to have when he was still in school. But what really got to me was when he said, I understand how resources are a challenge, how you're trying to get this thing off the ground, but you definitely need to get, resources, you get money, right? And that's probably why you're charging the students, because we are charging the students. They have to pay 400 kwacha a month to be part of this particular club, right? And he says, I understand that, and it's really important because you need to grow, and within the growth plan of this particular club, there is plans to uh, put up a library and a physical structure that will work as a hub where people can come through, people can interact from, people can hold seminars and workshops and everything. It's basically an extra classroom outside the classroom with a whole different approach to education. On the same structure, we could actually put up a venue for different, activities, different shows, like the show we're having in April. So that's like there's a whole a growth plan for this initiative. And he, like, after I explained the whole thing, he says, "Yeah, no, I really really do um, think that it's a great idea. I'm willing actually to render my service. I'm willing to help, and I'm not very wealthy, and I'm not able to give money, but." If you find a piece of land and you are building something, I am willing to come through and to dig the foundation for the structure you were building. Now, when he said that, um, I every little doubt I had with regards to this initiative and this plan and the extravagance of the whole of it and everything, every little doubt I had concerning it just died in an instant. To see this middle-aged man offer to come through and dig the foundation. I mean, obviously he's not like gonna dig the whole thing alone, but to be a part of the people that are giving their muscle and their time towards this particular goal, because he's not able to dig into his pocket and give money, just showed me how it's something that resonates with people. it's it's something that people think, as much as I do, that it can definitely carry us into a different space. And I'm sharing this with you because I'm hoping that with a fuller understanding of what we're building here, um, we could build it together. You know, there's a whole lot that I have already worked out, but there's a lot more that has to be worked out, a lot more that has to be worked on, a lot more that has to be brought to life. You know, and I'm open to as many suggestions, as many ideas, as many forms and modes of help as people can render, because this thing is bigger than me. This thing is I mean, it's way bigger than me. This is one of those ideas that you build and you die, and the idea is still living after you. And if there's one more person like me, one more person like this man who is willing to come through to dig the foundation, um, I'd urge you to just come forward and let's have a conversation around this. Let's find a way to make this work. And it's not for me. I'm not even doing this for me. I'm doing this for the people that are coming after me. I'm doing this for legacy, right? So yeah, that's basically it. I was just touched by his sentiment, to think that he is so much in support of the idea that he'd be willing to come through and physically spend his energy and his time towards the development of this. Like man, that was the highlight of my day. That was day made right there. And I know he's not the only one. There's a bunch of people like him, there's a bunch of people like me that think that these are essential initiatives, that think that this should be staples in our education system, that think that these could literally change a lot of lives. And I know we can do it, but I know I won't be able to do it alone. So if you are able to help in any capacity, and if you think this is worth your time, your money, please come forward and let's work on this together. Thank you for your time.